You know, after 43 years on this bench, I've seen family ties stretch and snap in ways that break your heart. Children who forget their parents, grandchildren who treat elders like burdens, the slow, quiet loneliness that creeps in when blood stops showing up. But on that gentle spring morning in May, a 92-year-old man, frail, sharp-eyed, walking with a cane carved by his own hands decades ago, rolled his wheelchair into my courtroom to sue his own grandchildren for abandonment. Not for money, not for property, for emotional neglect, for the years they stopped visiting, stopped calling, stopped remembering his birthday while he sat alone in the same house where he raised their mother. What he didn't expect, and what brought tears to every eye in that room, including mine, was that during the hearing, one of the granddaughters broke down, confessed the guilt she'd carried, and begged her grandfather to forgive her while the others sat stunned. My ruling didn't just award damages, it restored a sliver of faith in family that this old man thought was gone forever. This wasn't a typical elder abuse or neglect suit. This was a grandfather, a man who had worked 50 years in a steel mill, buried his wife, raised 3 kids alone after she died young, survived 2 wars as a young soldier, asking the court to hold his grandchildren accountable for turning their backs when he needed them most. The confrontation wasn't angry, it was tender, raw, and when the apologies finally came, the courtroom felt like a living room where a family had waited too long to talk. Before I take you through every tearful, faith-restoring moment of that day, hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, click it, because stories like this remind us that it's never too late to say, "I'm sorry," or "I love you," even at 92. Drop a comment telling me, have you ever felt forgotten by your own family in old age? You're going to hold this one close. I've been a probate and family court judge in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania since 1982. That's 43 years of watching generations clash, reconcile, or simply drift away. Every morning I arrive at 7 dials, make my oatmeal, plain, the way my grandmother made it when she lived to 97, and sit quietly thanking God for another day to do right by people. My clerk, Patricia, who's been with me for 29 years, knows when a case carries the weight of a lifetime. That May morning, she handed me the petition and said softly, "Judge, 92-year-old grandfather suing 3 grandchildren for intentional infliction of emotional distress and elder neglect. No money demand, just recognition and nominal damages. He wants them to show up, and he's here alone." The file was small but heavy. Plaintiff, Harold Hal Thompson, 92, retired steelworker, Bubupwa, and Korean War veteran, widower since 1998. Defendants, his 3 grandchildren, Robert, 35, Jessica, 32, and Michael, 29, children of Hal's late daughter. Claim intentional infliction of emotional distress through prolonged abandonment, failure to provide companionship or assistance despite knowledge of his frailty and isolation. Hal alleged no visits in 5 years, no calls on holidays or birthdays, no help with groceries, doctor rides, or even a simple "How are you, Grandpa?" while he lived alone in the same house where he raised their mother. He asked for $1 in nominal damages per grandchild, symbolic, plus court-ordered family counseling and a public apology. The courtroom was hushed. A few court watchers, Hal's old VFW buddy in the back row saluting quietly, and the 3 grandchildren sitting together at the defense table looking uncomfortable, ashamed, defiant in turns. Hal entered slowly, wheelchair pushed by a court volunteer because he refused a caregiver. He wore his faded army jacket with medals pinned neatly, cap in his lap, hands folded over the cane he still used to stand when he wanted to look someone in the eye. At 9:40 a.m., Patricia called it Thompson v. Thompson et al.'s Case 25 CV 20197, Civil Action for Emotional Distress and Elder Neglect. Hal's voice was thin but clear. "I'm here to be heard, Your Honor, not for money, for truth." I began gently. "Mr. Thompson, you're asking the court to recognize the emotional harm caused by your grandchildren's abandonment. Tell us your story." Hal straightened as much as his body allowed. "I raised their mother, my Ellen, alone after my wife passed in '98. Ellen died in 2015. Cancer. These 3 were grown then. I thought family sticks together. But after the funeral, they stopped coming. Robert moved to California for work, said he'd visit, never did. Jessica got married, had kids. I've never met my great-grandchildren. Michael's local, 20 minutes away, but I haven't seen him in 5 years. No calls on my birthday, Christmas, nothing. I sit in that house alone. The phone doesn't ring. I talk to the walls. I'm not asking for their money. I'm asking them to remember I'm still alive." Robert, the oldest, spoke first through counsel. "Your Honor, we love Grandpa. Life got busy. Jobs, Kids, distance. We didn't mean to abandon him. We thought he was fine. He never asked for help. Hal looked at them, eyes wet but steady. I never asked because I didn't want to be a burden, but I needed you, not your money. You, a phone call, a visit, to know my grandkids still cared. Jessica started crying quietly. Michael stared at the table. I asked Hal, why sue now? He answered softly, because I'm 92. I don't have many mornings left. I want them to know what they lost before I'm gone. And maybe they'll come to the funeral and feel something. I don't want them to stand over my coffin and say, I wish I'd called. The courtroom was silent, heavy, aching silence. Even the bailiff looked down. Let me pause here because this moment was sacred. Have you ever felt invisible to the people you raised? Drop a comment right now and tell me, what would you say to grandchildren who forgot you existed? And if your eyes are already wet, hit that like button because what happened next restored something in that old man's heart. I turned to the grandchildren. You three are adults. You knew he was alone. You knew his health was failing. You knew he buried your grandmother before her, and you chose silence. Why? Jessica spoke, voice breaking. Grandpa, I was ashamed. After Mom died, I couldn't face the house. It hurt too much. I thought if I stayed away, it wouldn't hurt, but it did. Every day. I'm so sorry. I love you. I didn't know how to come back. Michael added quietly. I kept meaning to call. Then weeks became months. I was scared you'd be mad. I was wrong. I was a coward. Robert, the farthest away, stood. Grandpa, I don't have an excuse. I got caught up in my life. I told myself you were okay. But seeing you here, I see what I did. I broke your heart. I'm sorry doesn't cover it, but I'm here now, and I'll be here from now on, if you'll let me. Hal looked at them, tears falling freely now. I never stopped loving you, even when you forgot me. I just wanted to hear your voices, to know you were okay. That's all. The courtroom was crying, open, unashamed tears. Jessica stood, walked to Hal, knelt beside his wheelchair, took his hand. Grandpa, can you forgive me? Hal squeezed her hand, frail but strong. I already have, sweetheart. Just don't wait another 5 years. Michael and Robert joined her. They hugged him, awkward at first, then tight, like kids again. Hal cried openly, not from pain, but from relief, from love coming home after too long away. I let them have the moment. Then I ruled, voice thick but firm. The court finds defendants liable for intentional infliction of emotional distress through prolonged, knowing abandonment of a vulnerable elder. Judgment for plaintiff, $1 nominal damages per defendant, symbolic. No monetary award beyond that. But I am ordering 6 months of court-supervised family counseling, all 3 defendants to attend with plaintiff at defendant's expense. Visitation schedule to be established. Weekly calls minimum, monthly visits if feasible. Letters of apology to be written and delivered in person, and I'm placing this case on review for 1 year. If abandonment continues, contempt proceedings will follow. I looked at Hal. Mr. Thompson, you didn't come for money, you came for family. Today it looks like you may have found it again. I hope the rest of your days are filled with voices on the phone, footsteps at your door, and grandchildren who remember you're still here. I banged the gavel softly. So ordered. Court stands in recess. Hal, go home with your family. They're waiting. As Hal rolled out, grandkids walking beside him, hands on his shoulders, the courtroom stood, not in applause, but in quiet respect. Patricia handed tissues. Even the court reporter was crying. 1 year later, Hal's great-granddaughter wrote me a card with pictures. Dear Judge, Grandpa is 93 now. We visit every Sunday. He tells us war stories and shows us how to carve wood. Thank you for making us come back. He smiles more. We love him. Hal sent a note. Your Honor, I thought family was gone. You gave me back my faith. I'm not alone anymore. God bless you. Stories like this restore something in you. A 92-year-old can sue for abandonment and win more than a judgment. He can win back his family, one tearful apology at a time. If this healed a little piece of your heart, if you believe it's never too late for family to come home, hit that like button, subscribe for more courtroom moments where love fights to return, and share this with anyone who's ever felt forgotten in old age. Comment below, would you have sued your grandchildren to make them see you? Thank you for listening. God bless our elders. They carried us once. Now it's our turn to carry them. Check the next video. Another elder justice story with a beautiful twist is coming. Take care of your grandparents. Call them today. Tomorrow isn't promised, but love can still be.